Imagine this. You're sitting on your couch, scrolling through your phone after a long day. You see an ad. It looks highly professional. Maybe it's even endorsed by a celebrity you trust, offering a secure, totally low-risk way to grow your life savings. You click the link. You start talking to a friendly, knowledgeable advisor. You decide to invest just a little bit of money, and almost immediately you see returns. It feels incredible, right? It feels like you finally found the secret to financial freedom. But what happens when that completely risk-free investment turns out to be a perfectly engineered trap? What happens when the money you've worked your entire life to save just vanishes into thin air and the people you trusted completely disappear? Today, we are looking at a devastating reality. You might sit there and think, oh, I'm way too smart to fall for something like that. But listen to me. These fraudsters are executing psychological masterclasses to drain American bank accounts every single day. Make no mistake, this could happen to you.
Welcome to the Fraud Files, where we expose real scams and protect Americans like you. Today's case file could save you thousands of dollars. Let's get into it. We are decoding the exact tactics fraudsters use to execute a massive global fake investment epidemic. And we are just guessing here. We are pulling urgent data and direct warnings from top global financial authorities, like the Financial Markets Authority in New Zealand, HSBC in Hong Kong, SEBI in India, and AU Small Finance Bank.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The fake investment epidemic. 2. The scammer's playbook. 3. Spotting the red flags. And 4. Your action plan.
Section 1. The fake investment epidemic.
We really need to understand the massive scale of this fraud before we look at how they do it. These aren't just lone hackers sitting in a dark basement somewhere. No, these are highly organized, sophisticated syndicates. They create hundreds, sometimes thousands, of fraudulent websites and portfolios that look incredibly genuine. They target absolutely everyone, from novice first-time investors to experienced professionals who are just looking for an edge in the market. To give you a sense of how fast this is spreading globally, just look at this number: 170 plus. That is the number of fake online investment platforms the New Zealand Financial Markets Authority, the FMA, recently added to their warning list in just a span of a few months. We're talking about platforms with super professional-sounding names, things like Clear Peak Trades, Ascension Trade Options, and Elite Finance. They spin up these sites, steal millions of dollars, shut them down without a trace, and open brand new ones the very next day. It is an absolute epidemic.
And how do they hook you? They use 5 deadly words: guaranteed returns, zero risk. Scammers prey on your very natural, very human desire for financial security. AU Small Finance Bank specifically warns that legitimate investments never, ever guarantee fixed or risk-free returns. But these scammers offer you the perfect illusion. They misuse the registration details of legitimate entities, they impersonate major, trusted banks, and they create fake websites that perfectly mirror the real ones. They sell you a financial dream that is actually a total nightmare.
Section 2. The Scammer's Playbook. This is the core of it. This is where we break down the exact chronological trap they use to steal your money. Because if you know the playbook, you can see the play coming from a mile away. Let me introduce you to the 5-step psychological blueprint that almost all of these scams follow. We've pulled this directly from the frameworks provided by SEBI and the FMA. It goes like this: the lure, trust building, fake profits, escalation, and finally, the devastating blocked withdrawal. Let's see how this trap builds, step by agonizing step. Phase 1 is the lure. To really understand how dangerous this is, let's look at a highly realistic scenario based entirely on how these syndicates operate. Let's imagine a guy. We'll call him David. He's 50 years old, living right here in the US, maybe out in Ohio. David gets an unsolicited message on WhatsApp, or maybe it's on a dating app like Tinder, from someone posing as a successful, highly attractive professional trader. Or maybe David just sees an incredibly slick ad on social media with a fake endorsement from a celebrity he really admires. They might offer him insider tips, or they might actually spend weeks developing a fake online relationship with him just to gain his confidence. The goal in Phase 1 is simple: get David's attention, earn a tiny bit of intrigue, and get him off that main public platform and onto their private fake trading site. Then comes Phase 2, trust building. This is honestly the trap's most brilliant and twisted feature. Going back to our guy David, he's a bit skeptical, right? Naturally. So the scammers tell him, hey, just put in a really small initial investment. See for yourself. And here is the terrifying kicker. They actually let him win. When David tries to withdraw his small initial profit, they release the funds to his bank account without a single fight. This completely disarms his suspicion. David sits back and thinks, wow, there's the money.
this is legit, I just made a profit. But he doesn't realize it's a calculated, intentional loss for the scammers. They gave him a few bucks to build his absolute, unwavering trust.
Once they have that trust, we enter phase 3, fake profits. This is the climax of the illusion. CB warns that victims are often tricked into downloading fake trading apps using unverified links completely outside of official app stores like Apple or Google Play. So David downloads this app. He logs into his shiny new dashboard and he sees real-time stock price movements. He puts in a few $1,000s, and over a few days, he watches that initial investment absolutely skyrocket. But it's all fabricated. It's literally a video game. His money isn't in the stock market. It went straight into the scammer's untraceable crypto wallet the literal second he hit transfer.
And that brings us to the most dangerous point. Phase 4, escalation. David is looking at these massive, life-changing fake profits on his screen, and the scammers start turning up the heat. They apply extreme pressure. They tell him it's a limited-time, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They urge him to invest every spare dime he has. AU Small Finance Bank notes that victims in this phase are frequently encouraged to take out massive personal loans or completely max out their credit cards just to maximize their gains. The scammers might even offer to lend David some of the platform's money to boost his leverage. They don't just want a savings, they want every last cent of credit he has access to. And then comes the crushing end. Phase 5, the blocked withdrawal. David's screen shows he's made an absolute fortune. He decides it's finally time to cash out and pay off his house. He clicks withdraw. Suddenly, the platform locks up. His friendly advisor coldly informs him that his account is frozen for investigation, or that he has to pay a 20% tax or a massive processing fee out of his own pocket before those funds can be released. Listen to me very closely. Even if David drains his final bank account to pay that fake fee, no funds will ever be released. They take the fee, the app immediately becomes dysfunctional, and the scammers vanish into thin air. He is left with nothing but debt. And are these scammers getting caught? We need an honest reality check here. The brutal truth is, once they have your money, their digital footprint is completely erased. They operate across international borders using untraceable crypto, making them incredibly difficult for global authorities to ever track down.
Section 3. Spotting the red flags.
You do not have to become the next victim. Let's empower you to see right through the illusion. The FMA makes this stark contrast very clear. Pay extremely close attention to the time frame of the promises. A legitimate real-world investment might offer you a realistic 4% return per year, and they will clearly and legally state the risks involved. A scam? A scam is going to promise you an absurd 4% return per day, totally guaranteed, with zero risk. Legitimate platforms are always registered with national authorities. Scams operate entirely in the shadows, totally unregistered, or using stolen credentials from real brokers.
I want you to take a screenshot of this exact list right now. These are your minimum 6 undeniable red flags. 1. If you see guaranteed or risk-free returns, run. 2. If the platform is unregistered, run. 3. If there is intense emotional pressure to invest immediately, that is a trap. 4. If they ask you to transfer funds to an unknown third party or request payment in cryptocurrency, that is a massive red flag. 5. If they ask you to download an app from a random web link instead of the official app store. And 6. If they ever demand taxes or withdrawal fees just to release your own money, you are 100% dealing with a scammer.
It really boils down to this universal rule of thumb highlighted by AU Small Finance Bank. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Scams are meticulously designed to override your basic logic with feelings of greed and intense excitement. When you feel that rush of finding an unbelievable, secret opportunity, force yourself to step back, take a breath, and apply this exact quote.
Section 4. Your action plan. Here are the concrete, actionable steps you must take to protect yourself. First, the preventative steps. 1. Always carry out thorough background checks. Verify the platform's registration directly on the official websites of global authorities, whether that's SEBI in India, the FMA in New Zealand, the SFC in Hong Kong, or regulators right here at home. 2. Never, ever share your OTPs, PINs, or card details. 3. As the FMA strongly warns, never let anyone convince you to install software that grants them remote access to your phone or computer under the guise of helping you trade. 4. Do not transfer money to random, unknown third parties. 5. Only use official app stores. And 6. Always consult a trusted, certified financial advisor in real life before making any big moves.
But what if it's already too late? What if you're watching this explainer right now and getting a sinking feeling in your stomach because you are in phase 4 or phase 5? First, do not panic but act immediately. Stop all contact with the advisor and do not send them another dime. Call your bank using the number on the back of your card and report the fraud right now. Immediately file a report with the federal authorities at reportfraud.ftc.gov and file a complaint with the FBI at ic3.gov. If you allowed any remote access to your computer, get a professional IT expert to secure your devices. And hear me clearly on this very last point, exercise extreme caution with anyone who suddenly contacts you claiming they can recover your lost funds for an upfront fee. These are called recovery scams, and it is almost always the exact same scammers coming back for a second bite of the apple.
So I leave you with this final thought. Are you letting the desire for quick wealth blind you to the traps hiding right in plain sight? Smart investing is never about overnight riches. It is about long-term safety, total transparency, and informed decisions. Please take this explainer and share it with your family, your friends, your coworkers, and anyone you care about. We have to look out for each other. Subscribe to the Fraud Files for daily scam alerts. Comment below if this happened to you or someone you know. Stay alert, stay safe. The fraudsters are watching. But now so are we.